Hi everyone, early hours warrior here. Awake, enjoying the early hours yet again. I'd have to say I probably wouldn't be awake if it wasn't for my current life experience, because I do appreciate my rest. But I am forever thankful when I wake to the peace of the early hours. It's great, it's a blessing. And so they say, blessing in disguise. Because at first, you don't think something can be of benefit, and then you allow yourself to notice the benefits. So I wanted to do this video, which always sort of, all the videos I do just sort of well up inside, and I just know I have to hit record and share something. Because isn't life such an amazing flow? It truly is. All the dimensional access we have as multidimensional beings, and especially as we have the lighter, higher flow embedding in our systems. So for any of those struggling and incomprehension, can't quite allow in at any great rate, but they're allowing it in because life is shifting them. Just remember that the medicine always will feel like the toughest thing. What is the toughest thing for your own experience that you could be avoiding? And it's not could be avoiding like, I wonder, is it that? No, it's more like, are you? Like when someone says, are you avoiding speaking to someone about that? And men are like that, like with doctors or sharing themselves, etc., which I think is my main point here. That what we avoid the most normally has the most medicine in it. It's just paradoxical for our shift in consciousness. But it's really not, in a way. It's really quite natural, but it's just something we've built in the energy of growth as men or women, and the consciousness acceptance. And we just kind of have accepted it. Oh yeah, men are just like that. Or, oh yeah, they just do that. But it's like now, with light shining on the actions of our field, it's like question where you haven't questioned before. And the answers will come to you easier. Because the answers have always been there in our energy, in our field. And now it's just coming online more. So it is quite an uprising feeling to take note of where You may not be sharing yourself, and stubbornly determined that it's not the answer. And that's why I say paradoxically, because like not in a million years would the human mind say, oh yeah, not all humans, but you know, like the stubbornest ones would say, and it's not going to come from the masculine that's built up in the masculine. It's going to come from, you know, the honest, inquisitive nature of, oh, perhaps it is that if I go and talk to someone about that, or what about if I just sat on the internet and typed in something that is intriguing me, like from my chest, like it's, but you know, because sometimes when I would do that years ago, it was like a part of me couldn't be seen, and I didn't even want some people to know that I was looking up my spiritual intrigue, like what was going on in the world to do with what I was thinking that I couldn't speak about, you know? I'm sure we all have something like this. It's like you're revealing a part of yourself to the human, and the human's just not sure what it's doing, but it's following through on something. Like, could this be the answer? Am I going to find the answers? You know? And so I typed in different things like just spiritual teachers or anything like that. Just with intrigue of who's speaking about what. Because I knew my interior world was speaking something, and it wasn't matching anything I was experiencing on the outside for me to receive like, medicine. And so that little questioning opens up a whole new world. So that's my point of, I didn't fight that too much with masculine at all, because it felt like I was stepping out of a masculine world into that softer, can I do this? You know, like look up something new and different. And I'm so thankful that I didn't consider what other people thought too much. It's like, I don't care. Something inside me wants to do this. I'm doing it. Because it's way better than, well, over time I discovered. No, actually, immediately I discovered that doing it for myself was the right move. And I was the one that was going to have to be not determined, but an inner allowance to come alive determination. And there would be a natural, enthusiastic inspiration growing on the inside where that was it. This was part of me now. And and mainly when I found Carolyn Mace and got my first deck of Sonia Chiquette's cards, and I watched those two women in their workshop and courses, and haven't haven't stopped checking in with them regularly. So for nearly around the 15-year mark now. Yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, that would be my questioning for anyone who may feel like they're in suffering, that there is always a question internally that you could be avoiding for the sake of keeping things functioning as normal. And it is difficult and ungrounding, but you'll soon see the shine coming up through the solar plexus that is the jewels and gems that come from the ungrounding of what we thought was, had to be, and must be permanent. You know, like we have these building blocks that things aren't meant to be different. But building blocks, well, if you think about the human body and the variety of amino acids and proteins, and the body is always a mixture of functioning depending on what we're thinking, our environments. So things change. Things are meant to change. Go with the flow, evolution, universal consciousness, invitation. For that feel better uprising response of who you really are inside. And when we get up to like the chest level for the heart and its expression, it is so freeing. And in the world at the moment, that is what is happening. So in any way that you unground yourself from the past determined permanence, so those systems or things in our life that we've all determined was never going to change, and it even builds up that building block inside of us to become one with it. No, never going to change. This is the way it is. This is the way it'll always be. This is who we are. This is how we stay. But with a little ungrounding of that and the light getting in and the shifts occurring, we get to know our true home is within, in expansion, and that will mimic the exterior. That the exterior will mimic our internal world. You know, not letting the head drive and say, check in too much with the chest and say, well, I'm feeling like this, the head says to the heart. I'm feeling like this, but why hasn't this happened yet? Well, how come it doesn't look like this? You know, that, yeah. Abraham Hicks is a good one to remind you. Esther Hicks channels Abraham, a higher collective consciousness assisting the light on the planet. Our growth essentially into moreness. Has great reminders on YouTube in 15-minute segments, because that's all that's allowed to be posted, because they do workshops. And online, what do they call those readings? Online gatherings where people can post questions to them. And because it's a collective consciousness reading, answering these questions, it doesn't matter who's listening, because if you're drawn to it, there is something in there that feeds into everyone's flow. So I just have to go back to what I was talking about, because when I say Abraham Hicks, that's it. It's just like so much more opens up, and because they have so many great reminders of our higher consciousness that just like pings with truth, just like brings truth online for the being. And like, they've been around since the 80s, so they've made some great shifts over the past, I don't know, what are we now? 26, wow. 40 years. So let me just go back to and I don't know if everyone knows my journey, but Matthias interferes. His energy interferes. When he decides, he thinks I've gone on long enough, it will feel like he comes in. And so for me to recall my Abraham tip, and I really shouldn't go on about Abraham so much, but I love them. And Esther Hicks. This one tip. So I was talking about, let me try and clear my tears. And narrow in on that one. I might have to listen back to the video and then pop it in the notes when it jogs my memory again. Guides, can we please rewind back to one of the glorious reminders of Abraham? Matthias, could you please chill out? Like, ease off? I mean, it's not going to kill you if I just express one more thing and finish this video sooner rather than later. Just ease off. No one's losing anything. It's all of benefit when we share something of great importance to ourselves. So breathe in. Release, let go. No, it comes straight back in. And so I want to remember it if it's the last thing I do for this video. I'm just going to take a moment out here, so I was talking about questioning ourselves and the importance of opening that up. For what is happening on the planet at the moment. For the rising consciousness, from believing life and the building blocks are one way. But yet we wake up to the fact that it's our inner world that produces our exterior. And Abraham talks about the inner being a lot. Change is constant. You see, they just have so much. They cover so much from people's questions that they truly do have so many jewels and gems when you're listening. And so they pop back into my consciousness through my life. That hit a high, and when something hits a high in your consciousness, you can't go back. You can't go back to any dilemmas involved in your questioning, because Abraham has come in with the light of consciousness and just opened it up. So I recommend having a listen to them. And they're abrahamhicks.com. And it truly is a holism experience, because higher consciousness doesn't skip a beat. Like in my last video last night, guidance is always there. It's just whether we lead ourselves to opening and wake it up. Our soul paths, awakening in that contentment of coming forth. So I'll just see if I can get to the specific, or perhaps I've covered it without realizing it just now. But in recommending Abraham, I think that has definitely hit it. And so when you look them up, you can type in pretty much anything that you're going through. So anything at all. And just have a cruise through their videos. There's all different Abraham Hicks accounts that follow them, and choose the one that resonates with you. I always love the latest ones, because the latest questions from people are what are drawn to Abraham because of the higher collective consciousness and we're all moving forward. So it reminds us that we are growing and rising in consciousness, because there's never a session that I'll listen to that is like, when I'm listening to all the latest, so 2026, which I do on occasion. Now, I used to a lot more, but various things open your soul and you're in the flow. So referring back to them is great. Yeah, I think the message I'm getting is just that there is a lot. If I've triggered anything to do with consciousness tonight, I'd look them up. And guys, when I have a little look over the video, I'll look back to where I got interrupted. I'll post it in the notes. But I can feel that I was at the emphasis point of the interior world reflects the exterior of what we experience. But yes, that's right. The head is going to keep questioning the heart, and the inner being, which is like the soul and allowance of the heart and soul experiencing life, that foundation, that growth, is not going to look exactly what the mind, which is built on subconscious patterning of experience, it's not, the future is not always going to refer to the past of what we've learned already. So what the opening of the soul wants to do isn't going to be what the head knows so far. It's going to play a part. Thinking plays a part in our subconscious living. Like, we can jump in the car and drive automatically, and we can even have a little daydream because there's a patterning there. We know what we're doing. But it's great to remember, for instance, the example of driving, that you are not just doing that one thing. You are multidimensional. So it's like, don't get caught up so much in what's directly in front of you just because you got it under control and everything. It's not just that. It's like when you train yourself not to get frustrated and you get emotionally mature, accepting that you can't change the traffic. So therefore, you are more multidimensional in experiencing life. So you can notice the trees or the bushes, flowers, appreciate looking at another vehicle, colors of things, noticing a dog as you're driving. You know, you're not just like, I'm just doing this. Which the head is that heavy kind of reminder where it says, why isn't this happening yet? And how come it doesn't look like this? And this is the way they said it would be. And all other things to do with the exterior subconscious patterning, which is the soup mixture that we live in. But now we're waking up to our multidimensional beings. We're dropping away the emotional patterning and freeing ourselves in that creativity. And that's where Abraham Hicks comes in well, because a lot of the questioning is based on that. You know, this is happening and I'm doing this and I've been listening to you guys for a while. Could you please give me some assistance as to why or what I could be doing that is getting in the way of me opening more? You know, that's why I love them. Because you'll get higher views based on what you're experiencing for the light entering the planet in consciousness, the higher view. So, and you know, that's magnetic in itself. So we draw it in because we want it, and away goes limiting construct. And whilst I've got you right there with that, and I keep looking at my painting to do with the diamond center, when we drop away that limiting construct and we're opening to the other dimensions, which is what the diamond structure is about. I wouldn't call it the soul or anything. I call it our multidimensional connection. That's where the shine feels like it's coming into your diamond, because that shine is the unlimited nature of what we are. Where we are still in a somewhat slowed down, limiting mind construct environment, that's not all we are. And let's take a pause and probably end with that. Because I find what I just said deeply important. I can feel that it is. It's not necessarily just for myself. It's like I can feel that it's just time for a pause for the human in the field of that. That we're at a time of being assisted for releasing limiting construct of the mind, for the inner opening of the path that feels more like shine from the chest. Interiorly, you know it. You feel it. And so because that's so magnetic and you start to live that, you don't even remember limiting construct. At times you will enter like conscious thought of having known it, but the truth of us is an expanse. And see how everything happens for a reason. I will take that pause in a moment, but I just want to mention, if I hadn't questioned and gone back, I wouldn't have gone forth into what Abraham is now reminding me of. This is why we call it the leading edge. You do honest questioning, you'll get the honest answering. this is what's taking us forward. The fact that I am holistically here to assist leadership in that. It's like saying, hey guys, we're not here for the limiting construct. We're here for the opening up. Okay? Which is why a lot of my talks are I think we're holding ourselves back in this. I think we're locking ourselves out of this. This is important because we could open ourselves up a bit more and share it. And no one is held back. Thanks everyone for joining me. And take a lovely long pause in anything you want. Don't let yourself feel held down or held back. Drop into the pause of beauty anytime. That you notice something and want to experience it. That's your opening. Yours. You're important. Every single one of us. No more of this flimsiness leadership of each other. More determined stance of love, light, and law. In here, our universal home. One and all. God bless. God bless us eternally. Infinite light source. Bye for now, everyone. See you again soon.